Everybody, good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are. Welcome to Beyond the Gate Radio, the September 13, 2011 edition on this fine Tuesday. Welcome to the show. This is being presented as a pre-recorded show, and it's going to be an interview only, so there will be no chat room and no callers today. Later on in the show, I will tell you how you can get some free gifts, which are books that our guests have written today. Our guest today is Derek Acorah, Spirit Medium from the UK. Derek Acorah is, without question, the #1 psychic in the UK, bridging the gap between the niche cult shows to mainstream talk shows, which rely on personality and the ability to capture the imagination. As a result of Derek's sincerity and enthusiastic delivery, Derek has achieved international acclaim with television, radio, and personal appearances across the United Kingdom, Europe, the Middle East, New Zealand, and the USA. Derek has also conducted telephone consultations for people as far south as India, Australia, and New Zealand. He is also the author of many books, a few of which are Derek Acorah's Amazing Psychic Stories, The Psychic World of Derek Acorah, Ghost Hunting with Derek Acorah, The Psychic Adventures of Derek Acorah, Derek Acorah's Ghost Towns, Derek Acorah Extreme Psychic, and more, which are constantly top sellers on Amazon.com. Recently, what's happening with Derek on this Facebook page, and if you're interested and not connected with him, please connect with Derek Acorah on Facebook. I just want to read a couple of brief comments mentioned about him on his Facebook page. One is from Miss S, which states, Derek, congratulations on winning the awards. You deserve every one of them, as you are the best. Another posting by a different Miss S, just heard about you winning those awards, and I wanted to say congratulations. You are an inspiration to millions. And lastly, Wendy, well done, Derek, on your 5 well-deserved awards. Now, if you wish to get in contact with Derek, please go to his website, www.derekacorah.com, and go to his contact page. And if you'd like to see Derek in person, go to one of his live events in the UK on his tour page or events page on his website. He has the True Vision Tour and the Paranormal Experience. Certainly very exciting. Now, without further ado, I'd like to bring Mr. Derek Acorah, Spirit Medium, the UK's top spirit medium and one of the top mediums in the world, on this show. Welcome, Derek Acorah.
Hi, David. It's nice to speak to you again.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear your voice again, too. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you. I'm fine.
That's wonderful. How's your lovely wife doing?
Great. She's fine. She's, as always, very supportive, very loving. I'm a very lucky man to have Gwen as my wife.
We're on the same page. I'm a very lucky man to have Sherelle, too, who unfortunately couldn't be here today to co-host the show. It's just myself.
Sorry.
But I love the pictures that Gwen posts on Facebook of the 365 Project. We get to see you in different aspects of your life. We never know what photographs we're going to see there, and it's very interesting.
Thank you. Well, she takes great pride in doing it. She really loves doing it, and she's taken photographs of me in some very unusual places, so to speak, and also some very nice places.
I see that, and you photograph well.
Thank you.
You sure do. You're a very good-looking person, and I notice the comments the ladies, compliments they make about your nice photographs on there as well. And I enjoy the garden photographs, that you have taken great pains to do a lot of work in the garden of your lovely home there, with the chickens and the pond and the ducks and the plants. That's just amazing.
Well, that is my love. I've got koi carp fish as well, And, when I'm not working out on the road, doing the theatres or whatever I'm doing, I'm the happiest when I'm at home with my family and all my pets, with my dogs as well, naturally. So that's my big family.
That's wonderful. We all have to have a balance in our life. We have what we do, and I know what you do. You love it's from your heart, and you're very blessed that you have a chance to do that. But that takes a lot of energy. A lot of people don't realize what you do, standing up before the audience on the stage, giving your talk and your readings. That takes a lot of people don't realize how much energy that takes, and then you have to travel back to your home, and you need to rest and do something different, which is, I think, is needed.
Well, it is very therapeutic, and it does help build my energies back up when I'm in just normal family circumstance part of my life, because that is very vital to me. But by having the love for the animals and wanting to take care of them, wanting to make sure that they're happy within themselves. And I like to think all our animals here at our home are extremely happy. They show us in their ways that they are happy. So that makes me pleased, and that helps build my energies to get back on the road again and do my work.
That's wonderful. And I have my things at my home, too, to balance me out. I have my garden is not as extensive as I'd like it to be, somewhat like yours. It's actually smaller, but we have 3 cats, and we have the flowers, the garden, the birds, and everything. And sometimes I just go out there to reflect, and it really rejuvenates me. It's really nice.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's exactly what it does, what you're saying. It does rejuvenate you.
Something I've noticed, and that's, for example, my work that I do, not counting the radio show, but, the mediumship, that growing up, I was in the military, I worked security guard, and then I just recently retired in July from law enforcement as a deputy sheriff for almost 20 years, so now I'm retired, I can do this full time, but I've noticed that I've had, the career is like the warrior side, and now I'm on the spiritual side. I think that's a good balance, but I'm amazed at how could I go from the warrior side to the spiritual side, and I realized you yourself were kind of in that energy as you grew up as a professional footballer, and don't you think that balances out a person?
It does, David, it does. I mean, when you are living a life a certain way and your work codes, and then suddenly to change from that way of doing things into a more, let's say, a deeper understanding of something that you probably didn't really realize the depth whilst you were doing those other working job titles. Now, the realization, you realize, you do see, it does balance everything out.
It does. It'd be hard to do something with lopsided energy, and it took me a long time to understand all this as well, because I guess we're constantly learning, evolving, and growing human beings, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
And, your work that you do, you just recently came back from the event on, forget the isle that it was on, but did you have to take a ferry to get to that?
To the Isle of Wight, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
We conducted the paranormal experience. It's with a gentleman called Alan Bates. And Alan Bates is a regressionalist. And what the program, the show is, with Alan will come out and he will ask the audience who would like to be in that state of awareness of, for him to take them down into a previous lifetime. And it's quite amazing. It can be quite stunning when you see the results. Just as an example, in the Isle of Wight, the last show that we did only a couple of days ago, where there was a young man of about 30. He was in the audience apparently with his wife, and he came along and he asked to be regressed, which Alan did. And then suddenly, as we got him back throughout his time of this life, and then took him out and go back a bit to his previous lifetime, coming from the man's voice, when he was addressed, when he was spoken to by Alan, suddenly it was the voice of a female. And in his previous lifetime, he was a female. And he spoke very clearly and precisely about certain aspects of his life, what part of the country he was born, his name, his family name, and information that can be, let's say, which it does happen, where they go and check later on these details. And it's just been amazing for Alan and myself to get people who've been regressed making contact back with us, saying they've been to the certain part of England where their regressed self was in a former life, and all the facts of the names, the schooling, records of that person and the family living at that time, whether it be in the 16th, 17th, 18th, or even the 19th century. It's just mind-blowing what can be achieved. And of course, a part of that show, I will come out and I will do a demonstration of clairvoyance and clairaudience, and I will bring loved ones across the veil for a short time to let the people know in the audience how their loved ones are. They're getting great comfort from it, and I love doing that. And right at the very end, Alan and I join together again on the stage, and we select the strongest regressed person of the evening. We bring them back up onto the stage, we sit them down, he takes them back again, and then we really go deep. I then take over and address the regressed person and ask questions that, let's say, if there'd been some kind of wrongdoing in that person's life or something affected them or what have you, I dig spiritually and bring to the surface what actually happens with that person, especially if they pass at a young age, and we get information that's just absolutely stunning. I'm very proud. I brought the paranormal experience together quite a while back. I'm working with probably one of the best, if not the best, regressionists in the world, in Alan. So we thoroughly enjoy our shows. We generally go out to packed audiences, and so that just recently, Acoraha was a huge success because nearly all the audience stayed behind when we go out and do autographs and photographs and little chats. Virtually all the audience stayed behind. That's how happy we were with the show.
I totally believe it. Your reputation precedes you, and that's totally amazing. And especially about the event, it's very ingenious that you have it designed that way. I remember going in support of what you do. I remember going to one a few years back myself. What my wife and I did, we went to one in San Francisco, and it was also a medium and regressionist. It was James Van Prague and Dr. Brian Weiss. And Dr. Brian Weiss, I'd never experienced anything like this before. And he brought us back, and I think we were under for maybe 45 minutes or so, and it only seemed like, 5 minutes or so. But I was amazed. I said, well, let me try this. And I ended up, back in Egypt, and then when I came out, I had a story to tell, and I was totally amazed. So, hello, Derek, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, David. You were cut off.
Yes, I got us back in. That's
Good.
Very unusual and very rare, but whenever I have, and I'm going to tell you this because this has happened too many times, when I have a powerful medium on there, something about the energy that, even though I prayed before the show, that messes up with the technology somehow.
Yes. Unfortunately, that has occurred a few times when I've been conducting an interview or stuff like that, and you can't really do much about it.
I know. I'm using Skype, and it's very convenient for me because it has a headset and a built-in mic and everything, and it's, what can I say? I hope it's not Sam up to his tricks.
No, it's not. He wouldn't do that, honestly.
I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I was just asking you, do they bring everybody in the audience? Does Alan bring everybody at the same time, regress everybody back at once?
Well, actually, yes, he doesn't do one person. He will maybe get something like 20 people up on the stage all sitting down, and he will take them down, and it's not everyone that can be successfully taken back. And he takes them forward into the consciousness, and then, lets them go back into the audience. He will end up in any given show with maybe between 8 to 10 people, and he will successfully regress those 10 people.
That's totally amazing. May I ask you, have you ever been regressed yourself?
I haven't, although Alan and I have been talking about this. And you know what? I don't think it's going to be very far along the line before I'll let Alan regress me, and we'll see what comes from it. And we'll also film it and sound it so it can be seen by people.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I'll be looking forward to that. Please let us know when that happens, because that...
When you do it, I'll put it up on my website so people can view it, okay?
Okay, that'd be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And everybody, Derek's website is www.derecacorah.com. If you want to find out anything about Derek and what's going on with him now and in the near future, please check into his website. So, Derek, you have you have a lot on your plate. I see that you're quite busy. You also have something called the True Vision Tour.
Yes. Well, my True Vision Tour, I just started it. I've done, I think, 7 shows, and I think I've got something like about another 30, 35 to do. That means different theatres across the UK.
Well, that certainly is a busy schedule. My wife and I were talking recently about taking a little vacation in the near future, and the first place we were going to visit is over there to England. And I bet you
that'd be good.
Can't guess who we're going to see for the first thing when we go over there. We're going to come to check out your events.
That'd be lovely, David. It really would. I really look forward to seeing you both.
My deceased mother was born there, and I hadn't been there since childhood, so it would be exciting. And Sherelle's never been there, so I'm sure it'll be wonderful. There's so many wonderful people over there.
Yes, I'm sure both of you really enjoy it.
I bet we will. And I bet it's, I was just young when I was there, but I'm sure it's changed quite a bit.
Oh, well, I'm sure, yes. There's certain parts of the UK, of England, that are very, very, very beautiful. And I like to think that the average person across the UK are very friendly and are very, what can I say to add to this? They're a very friendly bunch of people, and they can convey it from themselves. It is noticed, it's very noticeable. So I feel that both you and your lovely wife will be greeted with a lot of what we call good thoughts, good feelings, high energy, to make you feel relaxed and to make you feel as if, hey, we're really going to enjoy this vacation.
I know we will. We're quite excited about it. And there's a lot of interesting landmarks all over there, since that country is much older than the United States here. And I was interested in looking at, besides Buckingham Palace, of course, maybe an old castle or two somewhere. I'm sure there's lots of interesting landmarks.
There's some fabulous castles, right from the south, right up to Scotland. And you can, there's that many of them that it'll take you a long time to get to them all, but there are a few that I can let you know about if you've not read up about them, and the history and some wonderful, when I've been to certain castles. I've been to lots of them, investigating a lot of them. Some amazing things with the history. What I personally picked up, certain things of history where has it been a myth or has it been so, and going to the place of investigation and then finding the truth. It's brought me a great deal of pleasure. I'm sure it will be likewise for your good self in your life.
I know it will be. It's very interesting. We like visiting historic places. We have locally where I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, we have the Winchester Mystery House, and we have the USS Hornet, which is supposed to be highly haunted, which I have not had an opportunity to go there yet. And then there's, in California, the Whaley House. There's different landmarks, but it's always interested to go, not only because of their historical interest, but most of the time I find that some of these old places we go to seem to have spirits still hanging around.
Yes, yes.
And I suppose that one of the main reasons is that they just are really attached to the place because perhaps they loved it so much that they just want to hang around and not go to the light.
Well, that's exactly, I found that out to be very true. Because of their love, of their time living in a particular place, that's the reason what's drawing them back all the time. And of course, my belief is this: apart from grounded spirit people come back in visitation anyway because they can do it, and because if they can do it and they like doing it, they're going to do it for as long as they want to do it.
That's amazing because they have free will in so-called death as they do in this earthly life as well. Don't you believe that?
Absolutely, yes, they do. The free will is there for them. That hasn't changed. And, that's part and parcel of what we've earned the right to be able to function that way by our life and what we've done in that previous life. I know that to be so because I've been told it, in far greater depth than what I'm speaking. And I think it's a very wonderful thing to have as a facility to come back because, you know what, when it's my time in this life to let go and go on that journey, after the short space of time of sleep state and restoration over there, I'm going to be coming back on a regular basis, visiting places that I've lived, people that are still here, going and having a little look, see how they're doing, making contact with, no doubt, a number of them. That's going to bring a great deal of happiness in my afterlife for me because I know I've got that facility awaiting me. So I'd like everyone to know that. Everyone has got the right of this to use the free will in attaining what you want to do. I often, if you don't mind me saying, David, look at the spiritual gifts. I look at the rewards for us people who are eternal, is that if you utilize all what is there set out for you from the spirit realm, it's no wonder they call it heaven or heavenly, because virtually you can do virtually what you want. And that must bring so much happiness to the spirit people, because here on earth in the physical body, we haven't got always, even though we've got free will, we are prevented in our lifestyles from doing a lot of things that we can do once we're over on the higher side of life.
That's really, truly amazing and something to look forward to, going back to the other side. And I'm anticipating that myself, but I realize that I have still more things to do before I do go there. And, a lot of people ask me sometimes, how come when I come, I came to Earth, I was born, and I didn't choose to get ill or to go through this pain or certain things. And I believe that it's for their spiritual growth that we gain from negative experiences, because if everything was all bliss here on Earth and perfect, then why bother to come? Don't you agree with that?
I agree with it wholeheartedly. 100%. This is what I try to convey to people when they ask me questions about the spiritual life. That is so. It seems harsh to us if we can't grasp it or understand. It is for spiritual and soul growth. So as when we go over, it seems heavenly to us because, the things that we can do, the non-restricted things that we can do. Just think about it yourself. If you're a resident over the higher side of life right now, and you said, right, I know I've got a brother and I've got a sister or a mom still there, or even a dad, maybe you passed over young, and you can come back as often as you like in visits to them. And you can see them. Best part of the time they can't see you. However, it doesn't mean to say that you're not around. And that facility excites me so much so that, yes, that is the cycle of life. So as a person who didn't understand why these pains and certain things that happen to us, it's because prior to coming to an earthly life, a life incarnation, we've all sat down and talked about it and realized and selected ourselves of the things that we're going to experience. And that is the only way to reach the perfection that we're meant to reach one day.
And that I can totally agree on as well. Now, some people question if a person is born as a medium, or do we all have that potential in us, though it just lies dormant or unused, or is it just different? Like somebody could come here with a gift and win the American Idol. Another person could come here with a gift and become a brain surgeon or something like that. But not everybody can do those things. So do you believe that we were trained to do this in a spirit life, or we were a medium in a past life?
Well, you know what? There's different ways of thinking about these things and getting the knowledge to say what is correct. However, I do believe that through my connection with the world of spirit after all these years, is that to a certain degree, we have decided before coming back into a lifetime, we've already selected our potential parents, where the baby is going to be born, and that will be you and your new lifestyle. I also believe that it will have been discussed what you are going to be in this given lifetime. In other words, what you're going to achieve, and in what sort of, whether it be a doctorate, whether it be whatever in life. Yes, to a big degree, most of that is already discussed, so your spirit self knows, but not the physical side knows. And if we think, right, that's already pre-planned, what happens to the free will? Well, the free will, you see, basically is tied in with what you are meant to achieve. You will use your free will within that spectrum. If it's already planned in this given lifetime, I'm going to be a teacher, naturally the free will that will be attracted and used by that person who's going to become a teacher will be used in that context. So the answer, as I see it and understand it, is that to a great degree, yes, a lot of stuff has been discussed before you come back and reincarnated, and it's not logged in the brain of the person, but it's known by the spirit self within.
And a person's higher self pretty much has the knowledge, but is kind of blocked by us here in the physical, because we don't need to know certain things, otherwise how can we gain from our experience here?
That's exactly so. The higher self separate from the lower self. The lower self is to do with the physical, to a degree the mental as well, but the higher self is by far the real person, if you like. And it's the higher self that we've always got to try and utilize in our physical life, when we are attaining that with our higher self, that means that we are at the happiest that we can be. It's only when the higher self is not happy when maybe in the physical, the lower self makes decisions through free will and makes sometimes wrong decisions, sometimes quite bad decisions, and the higher self is not too happy with all that. But generally it is cleared and things get back onto an even keel for the person, and then the higher self is becoming happier again because the person is going along and doing the things that were meant in this lifetime.
That's amazing. And you know what I also have realized, and I've realized it with myself, if you come here to accomplish something, or you have a list of goals, for example, at least the main goals, even though I have free will, I always seem to be drawn back to my main goal regardless of what I do, and then I'm doing it, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense to you? Think that people's free will?
Yeah, it does make sense. And you will always be brought back onto that even keel. No matter what it takes to do it, you will always be brought, because you've got to walk that walk. I've got to walk the walk I walk. And, you know, the higher self, plus maybe your lovely main guardian guide, will be working very hard in the background to achieve this actual thing, yes.
I want to ask you a question. Is a lot of people ask me, well, you know, we're loved by God, protected by God, created here on the earth, and God has created the angels, and then there's different things that can occur in some places, and that's some people might go to a certain dwelling, for example, and there'd be some positive spirit activity, and then there'd be at another place some negative spirit activity that perhaps most of the time maybe it's a grounded spirit that's upset about the people being there, or some confused spirit that needs help is trying to get people's attention. But what is more, and I believe most rare, is an actual demonic in the particular place.
Yeah.
And are people, if somebody goes into a dwelling that perhaps somebody practiced the dark arts before and brought about these negative or dark entities that some people call demons in that place, and then let's say they left, could they still possibly, haunt that place?
In my understanding, what you've just asked me is, if a person goes into a location, a place that if someone has practiced maybe the dark arts, and when they walk in, are you asking me, is there an effect on that person? Is that what you just asked me?
Yes, and are any of the entities, I'm not talking about grounded spirit humans, but non-human entities, i.e. like a demon or something like that, that were conjured up before, would they still be hanging around that location, or would they leave when the people that brought them there left, or is it possible that they could still be there since they opened the door?
No, they could still be there. And in certain documented places that I've been to in the past, that has been the case. When I did the programs of Most Haunted, we had not a lot, but a number of locations where these energies were still there, and they hadn't moved on or moved anywhere since the person who conjured them into the atmosphere had passed over themselves. And those sorts of entities are not at all interested in people's emotions, because they're not emotionally driven beings, for a better word. They are low order. 9 times out of 10 they've never been in a what we call a physical life. So really the progressions spiritually, it's not there for them. They belong to different regions that are not from the kingdom of heaven. And they're outside God's jurisdiction. However, people shouldn't worry who go into places of that sort of nature, because they are of the light, they have spirit within them, they've got their own inner protection. And these sort of beings can't in any way over affect people of the light. They're the dark, people are of the light. So the light will always diminish the dark.
Well, that's very comforting. I know that you have lots of experience. Would you recommend to somebody that purchases a property or is going to purchase a property that has this type of, demonic presence there, would you suggest to them to not buy it or lives there to move, or perhaps have somebody clear it out?
Most definitely, my advice would be not, if they were privy of that knowledge that was going on there, not to buy the property at all. Stay away from it. Go and look for another place that's free of those sorts of things, because no one, no matter who they are, can gain any happiness and peace under those atmospheric energies that are dormant there. Unless, of course, if the people are so keen to purchase that property because i.e. it's in the right location, i.e. it's the right price, i.e. it's just what we've always wanted, well, I would most definitely then, give them directives by saying, well, have the property cleansed, to go in and with a medium or mediums to cleanse the property for all time, and that way they could live successfully in the property. But for a person to go in, purchase it, do nothing about it, they're in for a bad time, with the eventuality they want to leave anyway.
Yeah, that makes common sense. If I definitely would move into a place like that, and I'd rather sleep in a tent until I found something better than to move in a place like that.
I certainly wouldn't buy it. Although I'm knowledgeable of cleansing, I've done many of them, I still have never ever purchased a property where those sort of negative energies are about. I'd steer clear of them.
So something else interesting that you've done, I've seen on Most Haunted, is like a seance to connect with spirits that might be present in a given location. And I noticed that there's table tipping involved, and the cursor moves to different words or letters. That's very interesting. Now, does it take your collective energy to help spirit raise the table for confirmation?
Well, it does, yes, because you're conducting this. You're the head of conducting this, the cycle of things. And when the medium, expels the energy, it certainly helps those spirit people to do their part in achieving what you just explained, movement of articles and what have you. I'm not saying without the medium's help that the spirit people could not achieve it. What I'm saying is it helps the spirit people achieve it in a better way, a more noticeable way. And most of those spirit people, when you're conducting those things, are, well, if the medium is doing the right work, the medium should be conversing with the spirit people, and the spirit people will be listening to every word the medium is saying. And if the medium is to ask, which I did many times, for those spirit people that were around to do these things, we had a very good response throughout the programs in doing it that way.
Yes, they've always been amazing. Now I've had people ask me questions. If a group of you are walking through a particular dwelling, can spirit that's obviously there watching you to see what's going on, what you're up to, tell by looking at the group who can see and hear them and who cannot? Can they tell the difference?
Yes, they can. They naturally know rather quickly who's got the sensitivity out of the group. You know, the deepest level of sensitivity, and if they will be watching the person's reactions, and they will virtually gather around that person first, and try their best to get through to that person, and then watch the response from the person. Most definitely, so the answer to that is definitely yes, the spirit people do that purposely.
You know what I find amazing? Some of the dungeons and prisons that you have been to, that I've actually seen on TV, it apparently, occasionally, there'll still be a guard on duty doing his rounds still, and maybe a prisoner or two just hanging out in their cell. What's up with that? Why don't they want to leave?
Well, you see, the thing is, on some of the television programs, maybe some of the words that should have been spoken were not spoken, in the sense that most of these people who were in cells, or the guards, they are only coming back and repeating in their own way what they did, what they were doing at that time. So it doesn't mean to say some of them were people who are stuck here and they haven't moved on. A question which gets asked me all the time. Well, if they can come and visit, and they do visit, they still want to come and visit in the attire that they wore, meaning clothing, what they wore in their day while they were here. Yes, that's part of their free will. It'd be absolutely strange, I'm sure, if a guard that was maybe in a prison or castle, what have you, in maybe the 1625, suddenly appeared in clothing that you and I wear in modern day. It would be ridiculous because they wouldn't feel right. They're feeling right and correct about it because they're comfortable, because that's what they were used to wearing. But it doesn't necessarily need to say that they've been grounded since 1600. There's a big probability that they have moved on, but they're coming back on in regular visitations. And again, they may be fascinated. They want to be seen because when they're coming into the atmosphere in this day and age, they're seeing people in the clothing saying, how strange, look at that lady, how she's dressed, and the colours of the clothing. So that would keep them interested in coming back because they know that location, people are going to come to it to view it. So they're coming back and they're happy to do what they do.
I think that's amazing, and it sounds like the spirits are, doing something wonderful and enjoying themselves, and perhaps helping, give some historic information. Now, there's two questions I want to ask you. One is about, spirits and free will that are grounded here. And the other one, the first one I want to ask you is, are some ghosts the ones that, I don't know, either by choice or maybe they're confused somehow, can they be around like for a couple hundred years? Is that possible as a ghost, a grounded spirit?
Yes, they can, and invariably a lot of them are. But there are certain times, that it's deemed from the world of spirit that they will be eventually drawn from the Earth's atmosphere, and they will go rightly over to the place that's been designated for them. So the answer to that is there is big evidence that is so. It does happen, but the eventuality is that they will, there will be, let's say, high evolved souls who will come into the atmosphere and say, this is it now. This is the time. You can't stay here any more than this. Sure, you must come with us. So yes, that function, that is actually happening, has happened, and is still happening to this day.
that makes a great deal of sense. And I get a lot of callers from ghost investigators that have different perspective on a grounded spirit, a ghost that's haunting a location. Now, some people seem to feel that, it might be part of a spirit's path to be stuck as a ghost for a little while before they go back home as part of their experience. Some people say that maybe the person just wants to hang around for a while to make sure the family or property is okay before they cross over. And some people feel that they should cross over all ghosts that are haunting the place. Now, my feeling is that, you should look at each case individually. How do you feel about that, Derek?
Well, yes, to a degree, I would say individual, but I would definitely go for the second of what you have explained, which is the vast majority want to come back and do these things because they know they can do them through free will. And I would say that's the vast majority of spirit people. It's their view and their ideas that they want to come back in visitation. If that's answered it for you.
That's a great answer, and that's how I feel as well. Now,
good.
In my life, I've, besides, with clairvoyance, with my physical eyes, I've seen ghost apparitions and partial apparitions a couple times, but I've never seen anybody in my family. But I understand that when you were a young lad that you saw your grandfather on the stair landing when you were about to go down the stairs. And you told your grandmother about it, and she brought you up there. There's nothing there. You went down, so she opened up a little tin with some photos in it, and you picked out 2 photos and handed them to her. And she said, "You know who that is?" You said, "No." And she said, "That's your grandfather, because that's the person that you identified." And that's got to be a totally amazing experience. That must have really changed you.
Well, it was, David. I wasn't quite 7. I was 6 years and maybe so many months of age. And to suddenly be stopped on the stairwell outside one of the bedrooms to see this big man standing in the doorway. I could see him so clearly. He was very tangible to my eyes, my physical eyes. I saw the clothing he was wearing, the suit, the dark suit he was wearing, with the white shirt and a tie. I saw his hair colouring. I could see him very clearly. And then he spoke to me, and I could hear him very clearly then. He then walked over towards me and ruffled my hair with his hand, and I felt it. And then he told me to go down and tell my gran that Richard, that was his name, Richard was with me, and he was very happy that I could see him, and he would call again and see me, especially when I got older, and also mentioned something that I didn't quite understand at the time after telling Gran. He said something that really, as I've been older, I would have cottoned on with what he was saying about you could see me doing spiritual work later on in my life. And so, of course, my gran took me under her wing when she realised that I had seen him, and then from there on in, she watched over me, bless her, and whenever I had any more spiritual experiences, I used to tell Gran, and, if I had psychic dream state, I would tell her about what would happen in my sleep, and she'd explain to me what it was. So basically, because Gran was a medium before me, I had a very good, apart from a lovely grandmother, she was a very good medium as well in her day, that I was very fortunate to have her as my grandmother. And it was. When I saw him, I was alarmed, I was frightened, but I didn't know at that moment in time that I was talking to a spirit person, that I could see a spirit person because he looked tangible. He was, in the physical life. I just thought there was a stranger in my grand's house.
That's amazing. And you were innocent enough. You didn't realize that anything unusual was going on?
No. And, of course, it did dawn on me when the realization that I could actually see a spirit man, it made me rock a bit, man. And I remember saying to Gran at a certain age, I don't want to be like her. although I loved her as my gran, I didn't want to be working with spirits and ghosts and things. All I wanted to be is a football. I wanted to play sport. And yes, okay, I did play sport, professional sport, for a number of years. But the eventuality, what I was truly meant to do, faith in destiny and what I was supposed to, brought me onto the path and has kept me on this path all these years, and I'm continuing on. And I'm a very happy, contented man. I'm very fortunate.
Yes, you are. You're very blessed. But, you give so much, and, you give and you get back. And I think that's wonderful. And it is, as we discussed earlier, about a certain path that you were drawn to. And I want to ask you another question. I have some people that are fairly new mediums. I've helped some of them. And I explained to one particular person about, protecting yourself and your intentions, setting intentions and so forth, different things that, she said, I was born a medium, I don't need any training, and I suggested that, either get some training, read some books, talk to some experienced mediums for some tips, just don't go out and do it. And she did, but she did listen to me on 2 occasions, so she emailed me complaining that a bunch of spirits followed her home and they were, messing with her in her house and this and that. So I got a friend to help her with that. So what advice do you have to somebody that's a new medium?
Well, a person realizes that they are of mediumship quality, that they have got, it's meant for them. Most definitely, I would say that they should be drawing close to people who are already mediums, people who walk the walk, and know the pitfalls, to explain to them, and if they take that on board, they can develop into the true mediums that there should be without many hiccups. Going the way, and I didn't like to hear what the lady said. She doesn't need anyone. That is a big blunder, a big mistake. And the person can, most definitely will experience what she's experienced, just as a lesson to be learned. No medium, no person should ever try and go alone and make statements in a non-humble way. As the young lady said, quite simply, she's being shown or taught a lesson.
She has. That has not happened to her since, and she's learned more. And I suppose that, she just needed that lesson to be strongly imprinted into her since she wasn't getting it. And guess what? Now she has it for sure, so I've not heard anything negative like it again. But I think people should be careful about what they do. Like, there's nothing wrong with using an Ouija board, for example. I get asked that quite a bit. As long as you have been trained by somebody that's experienced, that you do it for good, that you're specific, that you protect. I mean, there's a lot that you can, enjoy the experience of it, but just don't go use it by yourself or ask for anybody to come in, because anything could happen. Isn't that correct?
It is very correct. It is. And once a person knows through being shown, being taught, what the pitfalls are and what they're not, they can get on and successfully achieve what they want to achieve with the Ouija board, but where no danger in any way can come to their energies if they, listen and conduct themselves in the best possible way prior to conducting something to do with the board.
That's definitely common sense right there.
Yes.
Derek, how did Sam introduce himself to you, your main spirit guide?
Well, he first introduced himself to me in my teenage years. I was sitting at home, I was with the family, we're all in our living room, the lounge, and it was a Sunday morning, and suddenly Mum was in the room. My brother at that time, I had an elder brother and an elder sister at that time, and little Donna, who's only a baby child, my other sister, and we were all chatting. I remember it all. I was sitting on one of the sofas, settee, and suddenly I heard a voice. I knew it wasn't anyone in the room because I've never heard this voice before. And I looked around. I could evaluate that no one heard this voice. Strange. So I took myself up into my bedroom. And I mentally, I didn't say it out loud, I said, who is there? Who is it? And I heard his voice again. And he started talking to me. And I thought, for a couple of seconds, am I going mad? But I realised I wasn't. And that was my first connection with Sam in this physical life. But what he did say to me was, he was so pleased that I could hear him. He didn't show himself, I didn't see him. I just heard his voice. And I understood what he was saying. But what he did say towards the end was, he was so glad that at this stage I could hear him. And he's not likely to connect with me for a little while from then, because I had other things to do in the physical life, and I knew what he meant, what he was referring to. The pathway I was going to go and was going was a sporting life, playing soccer. So it was only periodically, whilst I was playing soccer, Sam would come along and say hello, just let me tell me things, and I'd make quotes. And so he was there, he was around, but he didn't interfere. It was only when I seriously was meant to come and walk the walk and develop strongly into mediumship was when I had an injury playing soccer, and it responded to an operation. And I came back the next season, played 2 games into the season, and I had an injury again to the same knee. I was taken to hospital, they did exploratory, then they operated, and then I came round after the anesthetic, after the operation, and with the surgeon and specialist sitting on the end of the bed telling me that my football days were over. Now, when I was in Australia at the time, playing for a club in Australia, and I thought, what am I going to do? I had been taking my coaching badge to eventually maybe be a coach, but I was only part of the way into that. So I decided with my family to come back to the UK, reform, rethink, see what I'm going to do. But after a period of time, as fate and destiny had it, I started having these amazing connections with the world of spirit in my sleep. And Sam, for the first time I could see him, and he's talking to me, and I'd wake up with these ideas. And what they were doing, they were not forcing me, but they were encouraging me to, join a spiritual development class, but also in conjunction offering my services, because according to the spirit world, I was ready to go to the public and try to do readings for people. Well, that's exactly what I did, and I've never stopped work ever since. I'm as busy today as what I've always been.
And that's amazing. And I know you have a large support team in the world of spirit backing you up. And
yes.
That's totally amazing how you work together like that.
Well, you know what? I'm a very fortunate man, I know that. And I respect the whole spiritual team that are there. They know that. And I will always, whilst I work for spirit, I will always appreciate their hard work behind the scenes.
And talking about appreciation, we appreciate you coming on the show today, and your busy schedule and your personal time is very generous. I just wanted to tell that anybody that listens to the show, because I'm going to be putting it out there, that on September 14th, anybody in the United States, because I'm trying to also promote Derek in the United States, anybody in the United States that listens to the show on September 14th, the first 3 people to send me an email at mediumdavidbaker@comcast.net. That's mediumdavidbaker@comcast.net. Each of you will get a brand new free copy of one of Derek's books from my collection. Just to thank you for listening to the show, and hopefully you can learn more about Derek. Derek, is there anything you'd like to announce or tell everybody before we close the show?
Yes, there is, actually, David. At this moment, my people that support me in England, as we talk about agents and managers, they are easily in talks with an American network about a program, and hopefully, from what I've heard up to date, is they're extremely interested in wanting to commission it and put it on, broadcast it across the United States of America.
Well, that's amazing, and that's funny because the first time you had on your show, I don't think I had an opportunity to mention to you, but I may have. I told Sherelle that, you know what, I think something new in TV is coming up with him, and that just confirms it. And as a psychic medium myself, I think that that's going to come about and it's going to be very successful. And I think that would be wonderful because you already have a large audience, and there's not very many people in the world that as charismatic as you are and, highly gifted. You're a really good speaker. You're really highly gifted, and you do it well, and what you share with everybody, we all learn, and you're adding more light to the world, and we really appreciate it very much what you do. You're the best.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. I can speak with you. You might as well be sitting next to me here. You're a soul friend, and you're knowledgeable, and you're a good man yourself, and you keep up with the good work and keep on giving the truth to people, because you know what? You are a teacher. Whether you know it or not, you are a teacher. That's what you're meant to be.
Oh, wow.
Spiritually. And you will find this over the next couple of years, how they will manipulate and do things for you, because they know you've got all the qualities that are needed. You've got the passion, you've got the compassion, you've got the empathy, you've got the goodness. So, it's like one brother talking to another brother here, okay?
Okay, Derek. Thank you so much.
David, it's been a pleasure, and I hope your lovely listeners and whether they gain something from it, because that will bring me great, great heartfelt pleasure.
Thank you so much. God bless you and Gwen. And I know there's going to be a record amount of listens too, as your last show was, broke records. Thank you so much. God bless you, and until next time.
God bless you. Till next time, David.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, this has been the Tuesday, September 13th edition of Beyond the Gate Radio with Derek Acorah, spirit medium from the UK, and he's one of the best in the world. We want to thank everybody for joining us today, and please feel free to share this program with your friends. And a reminder, once again, September 14th, if I get some emails from somebody in the United States, the first 3 people, I will mail you a brand new copy of one of his many books to you, because we love Derek so much and we want you to learn about him. Please go to his website, www.derecacorah.com, find out all about him, what's going on with his events. Check out his Facebook page, and also on the website of Derek's, you may contact him. He has a page here for contact if you wish to ask him a question. Thank you, everybody. God bless you, and have a wonderful day. This is Beyond the Gate Radio.
energies back up when I'm in just normal family circumstance part of my life, because that is, that is very vital to me. But by having the love for the animals and, wanting to take care of them, wanting to make sure that they're happy within themselves. And I like to think all our animals here at our home are extremely happy. They show us in their ways that they are happy. So that makes me pleased, and that helps build my energies to get back on that road again and do my work.
That's wonderful. And I have nice things at my home, too, to balance me out. I have my garden is not as extensive as I'd like it to be, somewhat like yours. It's actually smaller, but we have 3 cats, and we have the flowers, the garden, the birds, and everything. And sometimes I just go out there to reflect, and it really rejuvenates me. It's really nice.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's exactly what it does, what you're saying. It does rejuvenate you.
Something I've noticed, and that's, for example, my work that I do, not counting the radio show, but, the mediumship, that growing up, I was in the military, I worked security guard, and then I just recently retired in July from law enforcement as a deputy sheriff for almost 20 years, so now I'm retired, I can do this full time. But I've noticed that I've had, the career is like the warrior side, and now I'm on the spiritual side. I think that's a good balance, but I'm amazed at how could I go from the warrior side to the spiritual side, and I realized you yourself were kind of in that energy as you grew up as a professional footballer, and hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are. Welcome to Beyond the Gate Radio, the September 13, 2011 edition on this fine Tuesday. Welcome to the show. This is being presented as a pre-recorded show, and it's going to be an interview only, so there will be no chat room and no callers today. Later on in the show, I will tell you how you can get some free gifts, which are books that our guests have written today. Our guest today is Derek Acorah, Spirit Medium from the UK. Derek Acorah is, without question, the #1 psychic in the UK, bridging the gap between the niche cult shows to mainstream talk shows, which rely on personality and the ability to capture the imagination. As a result of Derek's sincerity and enthusiastic delivery, Derek has achieved international acclaim with television, radio, and personal appearances across the United Kingdom, Europe, the Middle East, New Zealand, and the USA. Derek has also conducted telephone consultations for people as far south as India, Australia, and New Zealand. He is also the author of many books, a few of which are Derek Acorah's Amazing Psychic Stories, The Psychic World of Derek Acorah, Ghost Hunting with Derek Acorah, The Psychic Adventures of Derek Acorah, Derek Acorah's Ghost Towns, Derek Acorah Extreme Psychic, and more, which are constantly top sellers on Amazon.com. Recently, don't you think that balances out a person?
It does, David, it does. I mean, when you are living a life a certain way and your work codes, and then suddenly to change from that way of doing things into a more, let's say, a deeper understanding of something that you probably didn't really realize the depth whilst you were doing those other working job titles. Now, the realization, you realize, you do see it does balance everything out.
It does. It'd be hard to do something with lopsided energy, and it took me a long time to understand all this as well, because I guess we're constantly learning, evolving, and growing human beings, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
And, your work that you do you just recently came back from the event on, forget the isle that it was on, but did you have to take a ferry to get to that?
To the Isle of Wight? Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
We conducted the paranormal experience. It's with a gentleman called Alan Bates. And Alan Bates is a regressionalist. And what the program, the show is that Alan will come out and he will ask the audience who would like to be in that state of awareness of, for him to take them down into a previous lifetime. And it's quite amazing. It can be quite stunning when you see the results. Just as an example, in the Isle of Wight, the last show.
What's happening with Derek on this Facebook page, and if you're interested and not connected with him, please connect with Derek Acorah on Facebook. I just want to read a couple of brief comments mentioned about him on his Facebook page. One is from Miss S, which states, Derek, congratulations on winning the awards. You deserve every one of them, as you are the best. Another posting by a different Miss S, just heard about you winning those awards, and I wanted to say congratulations. You are an inspiration to millions. And lastly, Wendy, well done, Derek, on your 5 well-deserved awards. Now, if you wish to get in contact with Derek, please go to his website, www.derecacorah.com, and go to his contact page. And if you'd like to see Derek in person, go to one of his live events in the UK on his tour page or events page on his website. He has the True Vision Tour and the Paranormal Experience. Certainly very exciting. Now, without further ado, I'd like to bring Mr. Derek Acorah, spirit medium, the UK's top spirit medium and one of the top mediums in the world, on this show. Welcome, Derek Acorah.
Hi, David. It's nice to speak to you again.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear your voice again, too. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you. I'm fine.
That's wonderful. How's your lovely wife doing?
Great. She's fine. She's, as always, very supportive, very loving. I'm a very lucky man to have Gwen as my wife.
We're on the same page. I'm a very lucky man to have Sherelle, too, who unfortunately couldn't be here today to co-host the show. It's just myself.
Sorry.
But I love the pictures that Gwen posts on Facebook of the 365 project. We get to see you in different aspects of your life. We never know what photographs we're going to see there, and it's very interesting.
Thank you. Well, she takes great pride in doing it. She really loves doing it, and she's taken photographs of me in some very unusual places, so to speak, and also some very nice places.
I see that, and you photograph well.
Thank you.
You sure do. You're a very good-looking person, and I notice the comments the ladies, compliments they make about your nice photographs on there as well. And I enjoy the garden photographs, that you have taken great pains to do a lot of work in the garden of your lovely home there, with the chickens and the pond and the ducks and the plants. That's just amazing.
Well, that is my love. I've got cold carp fish as well. And, when I'm not working out on the road, doing the theatres or whatever I'm doing, I'm the happiest when I'm at home with my family and all my pets, with my dogs as well, naturally. So that's my big family.
That's wonderful. We all have to have a balance in our life. We have what we do, and I know what you do. You love it's from your heart, and you're very blessed that you have a chance to do that. But that takes a lot of energy. A lot of people don't realize what you do standing up before the audience on the stage, giving your talk and your readings. That takes a lot of people don't realize how much energy that takes, and then you have to travel back to your home, and you need to rest and do something different, which I think is needed.
Well, it is very therapeutic, and it does help build my